So, after months of anticipation, we finally got to see a little bit of the Wyatt Sicks tonight. Let's talk about it. Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of WrestleHolics Radio. I'm your host, Stephen Ramon. So, without further ado, Wyatt Sicks. Now, we've seen the rumors, we've seen the vignettes, the promos, the hype, we've seen the online circulation. We know that a couple of weeks ago, the Wyatt Sicks finally made their long-awaited debut to the main roster, which was a spectacle, to say the least. Since then, we've been seeing the little vignettes with what we can only assume to be Sister Abigail, aka Nikki Cross, where she shows up, she drops off a box every week to Michael Cole. Although this past week she delivered the box to Pat McAfee doing his show, and every week it's been a VHS tape with some type of therapy session with Bo Dallas and Uncle Howdy. And the most recent one, we saw Eric Rowan in the therapy session. Now, let's fast forward to this past edition of Monday Night Raw, where we finally got to see the Wyatt Sicks in a little bit of action. Just a little bit. Depending on what you would determine as being action. So, early on in the show, Chad Gable, he goes up to Adam Pearce and he's yipping and yapping, he's talking, and he's saying, I finally figured out who Uncle Howdy is Bo Dallas. Shocker. You know what I mean? Well, I demand you get Bo Dallas out here so I can talk to him, blah, blah, blah. Adam Pearce is like, you know what? If you want to talk to Bo so bad, he's here. You go handle that yourself. All right, say less. Later on towards the show, around about like the 10 o'clock hour, Chad Gable comes out to the ring. He calls out Bo Dallas, right? Bo walks out, no music, no special presentation, no interest, no nothing. He just casually walks to the ring. And out of nowhere, he gets jumped by Brutus and I forgot my boy's name. Either which way it go. The Creed brothers. They jump Bo Dallas from behind. They jump him. They beat him down. You know the regular routine. They throw him in the ring. Chad Gable gets in his couple of licks. And you know the whole routine. And then they're just standing there boasting. Then like clockwork, lights go out. Fog hits, you see the fireflies, and then fast forward, you see the Wyatt Sicks, you see Joe Gacy, you see Eric Rowan, you see Dexter Lumis, you see Nikki Cross, and they're all standing at the top of the stage with the lantern, the whole shebang bang, right? And then Bo Dallas, he does the little laugh joint or whatever, and the fans are going crazy. You hear the holy, yeah, there we go. You hear the holy like all throughout the arena. Like they're going nuts. They're loving it. So with that being said, finally looking at the Wyatt Sicks, as a fan of the Wyatt family, going back to the original inception of the original Wyatt family, and also just being a fan of Bray Wyatt and the work that he contributed to the WWE in general, this Wyatt Sicks is probably some of the best creative work in this realm that I've seen. You got a couple of guys that I've seen online, or a couple of people rather that I've seen online that are complaining about the quote unquote slow burn. Okay. And to them, here's what I gotta say. Don't watch it. It's as simple as that. Okay. If you cannot sit here and tell me that you're one of the people that, oh, I like the storytelling, I'm all about a good story, I'm all about a good build-up, I'm all about anticipation, I'm all about the slow burn. But then with the Wyatt Sicks, you want to sit here and rush a masterpiece. I fully believe that Bo Dallas has been given a strong level of creative control in regard to the Wyatt Sicks. Anybody watching this channel, anybody watching this video knows, if you're a fan of Bray Wyatt, then you would know that under Vince McMahon, then this would not be happening. It just wouldn't be. It wasn't his cup of tea. He didn't understand Bray Wyatt artistically nor creatively, which is why we've seen the poor booking of The Fiend. Honestly, one of the greatest characters that I personally will say that I've seen in WWE in the dark mystique realm since arguably The Undertaker. Again, that is a subjective personal opinion of mine. You may not agree with it, and if you don't, that's fine. That's cool. I'm not even tripping about it. However, with the Wyatt Sicks, we are getting a chance to see something very unique. We are getting a chance to actually see the visual masterpiece of what Bray Wyatt really wanted to do. And I don't know if anyone else has noticed this. Bo Dallas and Bray, they kind of favorite. Obviously, they're brothers. They're going to look somewhat alike. But it's almost as if Bo Dallas has eerily became like a, I don't want to say a twin of Bray, but looking at Bo this past Monday on Raw, the laugh, the mannerisms, the movement, the just everything. It gave me eerie vibes of Bray Wyatt. I don't know if that's by design. I don't know if that's just by happenstance, but it's creepy to say the least, in a good way, at least to me. But I am very interested to see where this storyline is going. Obviously, it looks like Chad Gable and the new Alpha Academy are up first on the list. Match wise, seeing what Eric Rowan has done, Eric Rowan, he can move. Okay, seeing what Dexter Lumis has done. If you follow Dexter Lumis all the way going back to TNA Impact, then you should be very familiar with what Dexter Lumis can do inside the ring. Dexter Lumis is, in my opinion, a very good wrestler inside the ring. He's a good mix of technical skill and a little bit of power, but not too much. Joe Gacy, if you've seen Joe Gacy in NXT, then you know that Joe Gacy can go out there and he has every ability to give you a banger match. So I'm not really worried about in-ring work for none of the Wyatt Sicks, at least in regards to Joe Gacy, Eric Rowan, nor Dexter Lumis. Nikki Cross has been hit or miss lately. I don't know if that's been more so with the renditions of Nikki, with the gimmick changes and everything, but on occasion she can go out there, she can give you a banger match, she can deliver. So again, not really worried about her. We saw some training videos of Alexa Bliss doing Twisted Bliss that posted online last week. Maybe that could be something. I know the SummerSlam is in her hometown of Ohio, so that'll be interesting to see if she's gonna come into the mix and she's gonna play into the fold. Bo Dallas is really the only guy that I kind of am eager to see what he can do in the ring. Now, I would say that Bo Dallas is really probably the only person that I'm actually anxious to see in the ring. I remember Bo. I remember some of his in-ring work. I do remember that in NXT, he was really solid. One of the 2Ks had Bo pretty much unbeatable in the little mode where you have to go through NXT and play through that part. It was pain in the butt to beat Bo Dallas. Or I just sucked at 2K. Two things can be true, or either one is true. Either which way it go. With the Wyatt Sicks, we have something very unique here that we cannot rush. The way that they are delicately interweaving the real life situation of losing Bray Wyatt at an early age, and also with this vignette that Eric Rowan did, losing Luke Harper, Brody Lee, whatever you want to know him as, is something that I, as a wrestling fan, have not seen, at least to my knowledge or my memory. If I'm wrong, put it down in the comments below, but I have not seen anything ever to this extent with what we're doing with the Wyatt Sicks. So with that being said, this isn't something that you can rush. This isn't something that, okay, let's just hurry up and get these guys in the ring. Like, no, everything has to be purposeful. There has to be a story behind every single thing involving the Wyatt Sicks in order for it not only to make sense, but for it to creatively and artistically work. Okay, this is not just some random faction like Judgment Day, like New Day, like the Pride, even the Bloodline to a certain extent that you can just randomly throw in a feud with anybody. Like, no, there has to be a purpose. And obviously, the big thing with the Wyatt Sicks that they've been harping on is family, which makes a lot of sense when you look at Chad Gable and what Chad Gable did to the people that he allegedly called his family. Now, this also opens up some questions for things down the road. If we're going with a family-based angle and pretty much the treatment of what you do to your quote-unquote family, if we're going to go with that angle and we're going to go with that premise as to why you would have a run-in with the Wyatt Sicks, it kind of opens up some things down the road creatively. We do know that we're on the precipice of a bloodline civil war, which more than likely is going to end with kind of like what happened with the NWO. When you had NWO Black and White and you had NWO Wolfpack. I think it would be a very interesting thing to see WWE do, to put one bloodline faction on one program and the other one on the other program. Don't know, it's a lot of stuff going on. The Samoans are a really big family. However, let's just go hypothetical for a minute. If that were to happen, right, then that would kind of be an interesting setup down the road to see, will we see a Wyatt Sicks versus one of the bloodline factions? Is it possible that Roman Reigns at some point in time could be targeted by the Wyatt Sicks? Because remember, Roman Reigns was the one who took the championship from The Fiend. WWE actually recently posted a clip of Roman Reigns' return at SummerSlam in 2020 when he attacked The Fiend after his match with Braun Strowman. Ironically, I feel that that clip was very conveniently posted on WWE's official social media account, at least on Facebook. Now, yes, SummerSlam is coming up. Yes, it has been rumored that Roman Reigns is going to return at SummerSlam. Or could this be WWE planting the seeds of something that we can expect down the line? It's very intriguing. And that's the thing with the Wyatt Sicks that makes it so captivating, that makes it unique, that makes it where it cannot be rushed. To me, as a fan, as a spectator of the sport, I would like to view myself as a critic, as I guess a sportscaster journalist of sorts. I do not feel like we need to rush anything with this faction. Tonight, obviously, I believe it was safe to assume that with what we saw on Monday Night Raw, we can probably see the first in-ring action of the Wyatt Sicks at SummerSlam. I don't know if it would be a iteration of Bo versus Chad, or I don't know if it would be an iteration of a 6-man tag match of sorts between the New Alpha Academy and the Wyatt Sicks. Who knows? Either which way it goes, more than likely look for that to be a match on SummerSlam. And to drive home a point of what I said earlier about the fans and the spectators and those who are amongst the IWC who are complaining that this is taking too long, who are complaining that this is being too drawn out, who are complaining that you're getting bored. If you're getting bored, turn the channel. I promise you that your tuning out is not going to stop anything with this faction. I promise you that you're complaining, you're crying about not seeing them in the ring fast enough, or not seeing them progress the storyline at the rate that you feel it should be progressed at. It's not going to do anything. And and honestly, if you're one of those type of people, then you should probably just go be a strictly AEW fan. And this is not me knocking AEW, so let me clarify that. But anyone who is a unbiased fan can honestly and should be able to honestly admit that the key difference between WWE and AEW is their last name, the last word in each company's name. AEW focuses on wrestling. Hence the reason why you get wrestling matches with no real stories behind them most of the time. Like this upcoming week, you have Swerve versus Okada. Where's the story? You have Will Ospreay versus MJF. Where's the story? You don't really get a lot of good storylines behind matches with AEW. You just get marquee matches. Compared to WWE, where you have to get storylines to actually make sense of the matches. This is why the two companies are different. This is why the two companies have primarily different fan bases. You have one fan base that loves to see just good wrestling. Nothing wrong with that. I think most fans in general do. Then you have another set of fans that like to see actual storytelling that go along with the matches. Hence the reason why, if you are a WWE fan, then you are actually intrigued with the Wyatt Sicks, and it's worth the wait, because this is not just some bum by fly by night storyline. It's being purposely thought out, and with what we're doing here, there is a multitude of endless angles and a multitude of endless opportunities that you can do with this faction, with this group, with this story. Unlike other angles, unlike other factions, unlike other storylines, where you get to a plateau and then it's only so much you can do. One of the reasons why Roman lost the belt at WrestleMania, besides the fact that it was time, the bloodline, the tribal chief at that current iteration had reached its full potential. It was no higher that he could go. There was no one else for him to beat. Okay. Judgment Day is getting ready to run its course, slowly but surely. If Judgment Day faction is still being booked together as a team on paper, at least probably by Royal Rumble, I will be pleasantly surprised. I'm not saying that it's gonna do a classical implosion, but Damian Priest is obviously being built to stand on its own 2 feet. Rhea Ripley is obviously in the midst of a face turn, which I don't know if that was the original plan for Rhea to turn face and Liv turn heel, or for Liv to get a monster face push and Rhea maintain her heel persona. Either which way it go, we've just seen a double turn. Dumb is still dumb. JD, Finn, the tag champs, all right, cool. But you see in most factions that they get to a tipping point where they have maximized their full potential. The New Day is another one of those. They have maximized their full potential. The Usos as a tag team were another one of those. They have maximized their full potential, which is the reason why creative directions were changed regarding those individuals in those groups. The Wyatt Sicks is one that for the foreseeable future, you got a lot of good storytelling ahead of you. Don't rush the process. Put it in the oven, let it cook. Turn it down some. We don't need to crank it at 350. Go ahead and slow cook that girl. Let's put it on about a good 200 degrees and cover it. All right, let it slow cook. If you're a cook, you know what I'm talking about. All right, put it in the smoker. Roll it low and slow. You know what I'm talking about. That's what we need to do here. And I am pleasantly surprised. Personally, I hope that we get more of the video vignette packages that give us breakdown and insights behind the characters and their psychologies. The one that we got with Eric Rowan, masterful. I'm looking forward to what we get with Joe Gacy. I'm looking forward to what we get with Dexter Lumis, especially Dexter Lumis, because Dexter Lumis is a man of not many words. He doesn't really talk. He doesn't cut promos. He's always been a quiet, mysterious figure. So to get to understand what it was from a psychological standpoint that brought him into the Wyatt Sicks, to me, it's going to be a masterful piece of work if done properly. And so far, I have no reason to believe that it would not be done properly based off everything that I've seen until this point. Nikki Cross, that is another one that I'm very interested to see the psychological breakdown of why she became Sister Abigail, or what attracted her to the Wyatt Sicks organization, or the Wyatt Sicks family. Let it build. Let us get the backstories behind all of these characters in their totality. Stop rushing. Calm down. Just relax. We're gonna get there. But that's it for me. That's pretty much all I had to say about this topic. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and turn on bell notifications so when I drop content you don't miss it. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Ramon and I'm out of here. Peace.